All right. I just was proving to myself why I hate lives. So this is take two on Jacob's birthday episode on pursuing joy. All right, welcome, Jacob.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you for bearing with me. I'm glad we're kind of on the same page and kind of
Hey, I'm
moving
pretty
through
chill with it.
with whatever. So, all right. So I am sipping on caffeine after not having it for a week. So I'm going to just take it down a notch. All right. We are going to go back to when we met. And so the big aha here was that you just started going to Fletcher 5 years
Yep.
ago. And
2020 COVID year.
okay. And so the reason that we ended up meeting is because we ended up going into the neighbor's Sunday school class. So I was in a
I think
different
so,
Sunday
yeah.
school class. Okay. So, uh,
Because I don't remember at all exactly how it happened. I just remembered I didn't know you, then I knew you, and then I think we've been friends since then.
okay. Yes. So yeah, it feels like for as long as I have been in Georgia, you and
Yeah.
I have been friends. So and kind of an unlikely friendship. And I remember having to get you out of the habit of calling me ma'am and miss because I was like, so you're turning. Am I allowed to say
How old? I'm
what age
30.
you're? Yes.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
One. Okay, because one year I was 1 year off, and you were like, "No, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I
I don't
don't
want to
want to
be."
be any older than I have to be. I'm turning, and so you can't say I am
All
this
right.
age.
Okay.
You have to say I'm turning this age.
Okay. So you are turning 34
Yeah.
this next week. Yes.
hmm
Okay.
On
And
Tuesday.
so and so I'm turning 44 in September. So exactly 10 years age
Wait, what's
difference.
your exact birthday?
September 15th.
No way.
What? You called me on my 40th birthday and sang happy birthday to me. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
No. All right. So just so everyone knows, I'm not gonna ever remember anything.
Anything. Okay. Okay. Okay, so why did you say no way to my birthday?
Well, because I was thinking that like I have like a bunch of random birthday numbers memorized or whatever, and
Or
so like
okay.
every time like you said September 15th, I was like, okay, I definitely know September 15th, which means it's stacked on top of several other birthdays of friends of
Oh,
mine. So I actually
okay.
forget whose birthday is when,
Okay.
and I
Okay.
also forget how old people are too. So like to me, like you'll be one age for like another 8 years.
Okay. I can
Because
work
if
with that.
anybody had asked me how old you were, I would be like, oh, yeah, she's like 40.
Oh yeah. And I'm totally fine with that. And I think 2 years ago we ran in. You were with a crowd of people. I was with some friends on my birthday
It was
celebrating.
downtown.
Yeah, I think it was like a first Friday
Yeah, yeah, I
birthday
remember.
throw.
I
And
remember.
so my favorite dessert on the planet is bread pudding at Bull and Barrel. And so
Mm, I
I
haven't
try to
tried
go
it
there.
there.
So good. Okay, so anyways, we so we were at like a Sunday school party,
Mm.
and I said something to you, and you had acted, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it had to do with your shoes. And you had acted like I'd like read your mail. You were like, "What? Wait, why did you say that to me? You don't even know me." Like how
This is our first meeting,
I mean, our first conversation, we may have
and I
like been
said you didn't know me at our first meeting.
because I said something that was, I guess, very something about you, and it had to do with your shoes. And you were like,
Do you
"How
remember
did you
exactly what you said?
know?"
You just
But
remember it was about my shoe.
yes, and I remember you being like, "Whoa, wait a second. How did you even like know that?" But then we got into this whole thing about preachers and sneakers. And you remember so
Okay, I kind of slightly remember that part. Because then, like, there was like this thing online we were looking at because that was like a
yes,
common thing. Yeah.
yes. And I think so how many pairs of shoes do you own right now?
Right now, I own less than 20, which is pretty good.
Okay. And then how
Yeah.
many of them are white?
So let's just round it up and say I have, you know, 12 pairs of shoes or 15 pairs of shoes, and I'll say that 10 pair of white.
Okay. And you keep them very clean. We do not own anything white in our home if we can help it.
Your
So, and
shirt's white.
unfortunately, no, it's blue. It's blue.
Oh,
No, I have two white shirts. So, okay. So I want to ask you this. I'm going to get into a few things and then we'll get into our questions. But
is it going to be related to white shoes?
uh,
Previously, and you said you didn't know what breaking the fourth wall meant. All right, so I'm gonna break the fourth wall right now. So everybody, she doesn't know what breaking the fourth wall means. So we're just gonna like keep that our little secret.
okay. So I did wake up thinking about that this morning. Okay. And so I was like, okay, I can recall this happening in some movies, but I've never heard that term before.
Breaking the fourth wall. I cannot believe that because you should have been teaching me that
I
term.
mean, oh, is it? Okay. So, but people just use this in conversation, or do they just say this is what's happening in a movie? Like,
I don't think they use it in like typical conversation, but to me it seems like common knowledge if you like watch good movies or whatever.
okay, all right. So you are the movie buff, and I will admit I have gone to specifically Marvel movies with
Yeah,
you that I am not up to date on at all, but just the experience of watching with a movie with you and how freaking excited you get is worth it, and having popcorn for that as well.
yeah.
The only time I remember, like, I was kind of like, I think I've seen movies with you once or twice where
Mhm.
you've already seen the movie, and I very specifically remember when we saw uh, the second Top Gun, and
Yeah.
you were like, I was like, you better not say another word because you were like, it's about to get so good. Like, what? Why are you? Don't tell me anything else.
I'm not big on like I don't think I'll spoil anything that's gonna happen in a movie, but like I don't know. I'm definitely gonna be one that will talk. So if someone will talk to me, I will talk back. Now if they don't talk, I'll still sometimes talk back, but like I'll try to like keep it pretty chill. But I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna laugh out loud.
Oh yeah.
I was having a conversation with a friend of mine not too long ago. Uh, we were going to the movies, and I was telling them, I was like, yeah, I can't. I'm several times I've stood up in a movie, I've jumped in a movie, like on my feet, jumped in a movie, like
I
I've
think
yelled across the theater. I've done all these
no,
things.
yes, no. It is an experience for anyone that hasn't experienced it.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
be able to
it's a
like.
very live
That's what the
action.
movie theater is there for, in
So
my
the
opinion.
the only time I have gone to an opening of a movie is when you talk to a bunch of people and go into, was it Spider-Man? Which one where he's all the different Spider-Man? Which one was that?
Oh, the
Where people like dressed up?
yes, yes, the one with dang on, it's the one with Tobey Maguire
Yeah,
and
all of
everything.
them. And Shiloh went with me, and you were like 4 seats down from me, and everybody, well, I won't say everybody, but at least half the crowd was acting like you, but I could
That's
still hear
because
you
it was a fan
above
movie.
the crowd.
It was like because you guys thought that I was like, okay, Jacob's just phenomenal. He just acts crazy. And then like I went to the movie and everyone's acting like me.
Yeah, I was like, what have I got a part of
This
here?
had like so that's what I think is so really cool about movies is because like in this movie, like someone's seeing it for the first time, so like they don't know anything about it. They're like, oh no, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. That was funny. But like you go see a movie that is made for fans, like there's so much tied into it. There's memes, there's like years of like anticipation waiting for each movie to come out, and then you follow all of those. There's comics like which I don't really go as far as comic side to things. Um, that's a little bit like further nerdy than I probably am. But like
Okay. You have a line. You have a
yeah,
line. I see. Okay.
but like it's just like one of those things where like you get there and you get that full experience because I always tell people say sometimes I wish I had never seen some movies so I could watch them and experience them for the first time again. But like one thing you miss with that is like, if you think Marvel, for example,
Mhm.
you know, we go back to when Iron Man first came out, um, and you watch each of those movies, and then you have 2 year, 3 year, 4 year gaps or 1 year gaps between everything. So you're having to wait until this next movie
Oh,
comes out.
yeah.
And so like in between that, you have conversations, you have memes, you have like articles, you have like different actors coming and going. And so like you build this like whole thing. So when that next movie comes out, for example, Endgame, when Endgame comes out, like people right now they can go on streaming servers, they can go on Disney Plus, and they can watch Endgame right now, and they've never seen any of the Marvel movies, and they don't have to wait. But the waiting, like all of that, it builds up into where you go and watch it, and in some cases you're disappointed, but in some cases you're not. And it's just like
No, that's a
it's still
lot.
like yeah, it's still like a massive experience, and like Marvel's definitely like falling off the wagon for sure, and like they've been hit or miss, and then they're making a slight comeback, and then with their last movie that came out, and then we'll see how it continues to go after
So Shiloh and I cried at the end of that Spider-Man movie.
that. And that was y'all's first time seeing it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It was,
I
and
don't even remember what the end of it was. Like, oh, well, I think it was.
where
Yeah, I remember now. I
Zendaya's
remember.
character doesn't remember Toby, Matt,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Not Toby, but it's okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you right now, I know very little. But I have been educated through the years
All right,
with
we got
you.
to break the fourth wall again. Hey, everybody, if you're watching this, she just spoiled a major part of a
I,
movie if you haven't seen it.
that came out like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but they still might not have seen it.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
They're
I'll have
probably not going to want to watch it now.
All right. Okay. If that's the stupidest thing that I say on here, then we're doing good. Okay. So sorry about that. Okay. So the other movie the other Marvel movie, like it really affected me and Shiloh. And I don't know if you recommended it to us or if we went to see it with you, but it's got a lot of like martial arts in it. There's I think
Oh,
the bus like gets sliced in half.
oh, you're
What is
talking
that one?
about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Okay, yes. We
Yes.
bawled at that one.
Y'all
Oh my
cried in that
gosh.
movie?
Yes. See, this is why
Why are y'all
it's
crying at all these Marvel movies? there's like maybe one where maybe you should have cried.
okay.
Like
So
most people probably cried in Endgame.
so specifically the Spider-Man movie. I know why Shiloh was crying at the end. It had to do with like the whole love thing. But let me see. Well, this might be another spoiler alert, but uh, and I remember discussing this with somebody else afterwards. So the villains don't really get to have a choice. They're like forced into their
Mm,
and when you don't actually make a choice, and so you are put into that or made into that, then it kind of takes away
yeah,
like freedom of choice or whether you're really good or not. It
yeah.
just and yeah, it kind of pulled on me in that
I
way.
think a lot of people well right now the trend is people are very supportive and they love good villains. Like, well, a good villain is somebody that you can like because you can start like relating to, you start understanding like why are they a villain, and like um that's just one thing that I think is very trendy right now. People care more about the villain than they've seen the superheroes forever. Like you
That's
see
so
super
toxic.
yeah, well, it seems toxic, but at the same time, like some actors and movie stars, they've just played villains very well. Like you think about Heath Ledger played the Joker like extremely well. Like no one can play the Joker as good as he did in that time period, I guess. And then you have like so many people over time that have played the Joker, whatever. But having a good villain, like if you look at Disney right now, they did Cruella, they did Maleficent, and it's focusing from the villain's point of
Oh,
view,
right. I know.
which is
Yeah, I
super.
know.
Yeah, it's super different, but it's also like very enjoyable when you have that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so I think that's interesting. That's an interesting thing for sure.
All right. I did not even expect to go this direction at all, but I should
Yeah,
have
I mean,
been because you you know so much.
well, I'll
So,
say this though, but like, a lot of people hate my movie taste, um, and or they think that I think every movie is really good.
oh, I will say I will agree with that. You do think
I don't
every
think that's
movie's
true.
really
I think what's actually true is I have a gift, and the gift is I'm able to enjoy things, whether they're like good or bad, and I'm able to take all of the good and wrap it into like a little package, and that's my experience. And then I filter
Oh,
out the bad.
okay.
But like, there's
Okay.
some things that are just bad, like Thor: Love and Thunder, for example. That was just really, really, really bad. There's like, there was no good to collect out of that movie. There was only bad to
Okay.
collect. It's so like it was an overall bad movie. But there's like a lot of movies that people are like, oh, this movie sucks or this movie wasn't good or whatever. And then I watch them like, bro, this movie wasn't even really that bad because I've seen some bad movies. So like I've like watched a ton of bad movies, but no, I think that's just like a pretty that's another unique thing probably about me that me and my friends go back and forth on all the time. So
Yes.
because some of
No,
my
I
friends they have terrible movie tastes,
well, it is hard to
and I
gauge.
will
Every
call them
time
out.
I swear you've texted me after movies and been like, "That was the best movie ever," and then the next movie, "That was the best movie ever," and I'm like,
That's just for
"Okay,
that particular moment in my. So
okay,
overall, like I probably never think of those movies again.
okay,
But
okay."
just in that moment, like this is the best movie ever because that's the movie you just watched.
Okay, I don't remember if I mentioned this before I cut off the other live with all my technical stuff or not, but and some so I'm going to say it again, and if I say it in this one, so be it. So when we first started hanging out, I told you that if we're going to hang out, you couldn't call me Miss and Ma'am, like you had to eliminate that from your vocabulary. And
Mm.
um, by the way, my children aren't allowed to call me Ma'am either. I find it to
Wait,
be,
what?
I know it's so weird,
That's a
but
very thing
it's
that they.
I'm
What do
sure
you make them
other
call other
adults
people, ma'am and sir?
I mean, they know, they understand the Southern culture, but it feels very condescending to me. And I've seen people with really good
Ma'am.
manners. And so and I know one of your friends, I won't mention his name, loves to give me grief about it and go to town every time he sees me, Miss and Ma'am all day long. But recently, uh, I brought up, and I didn't know this until recently, that we are both millennials, and
Wait, you're a
you
millennial?
yeah, and you said exactly that, and you were like, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. So, and now if you're experiencing that again, so on a scale of 1 to 10, how devastated are you by that information?
I can't process it. Like, where'd you find the data to say that
Um,
you were a millennial?
I found out, so it starts with 1981 apparently, and that was the year I was
No way.
born. Yes. So there you go. All right. So
I did
see,
not know that.
you don't remember any conversation
Oh,
we
and
had.
we apparently had this conversation, but I just still like,
It was like a month ago or 2 months ago.
yeah. So it's millennial, and then before that,
I don't know any of it. I
it's not
just
boomer, but it's like, is it Gen X
um
or something like that? I don't know.
I have no idea. But I do know.
I thought
Hold
you
on.
were definitely the other, like the one before.
The older one? I mean by 1 year I made it in. So there you go. Okay, so see that
Yeah,
yeah, it bothered you on the phone with me. You were like, I'm not sure how
it's
I
bothered me
feel about
twice now.
that. I know. So there you go. Okay. All
Yeah,
right. Okay, so we do actually have real stuff to get into or not. Let me find.
this isn't
Okay.
what we were. I thought this is what we are going to be talking about the whole time.
Did you?
Yeah,
You
just
you you of
movies and
all
people's
people,
age.
you told me you told me to send you an agenda,
Yeah,
and I was like, "Oh gosh, of all the people, I didn't expect it to be you to say that to me." And
yeah.
I am notorious for sending people questions and then not asking them. So,
I think when I'm doing something that's like, so which is crazy. So there's a so my friends, a lot of friends are getting to know professional work, Jacob. They're seeing
oh,
like some of the lines cross, And so like I was sitting actually here at Three Tree, in a work meeting, and a friend of mine was sitting at a table and across from me, and I was in a work call, and I go into this call,
Oh,
and
mhm.
while I'm in the call, I get off, and my friend goes, "Oh my gosh, I have never in my life seen you be professional." And she goes, "Like I didn't know, I didn't know who this was. Like I don't know, like what to expect, how to think
I
about it,
understand
or
that. Yes.
or anything." And I was like, "What? I do this all the time. Like this is like everyday life for me." And it's like I guess it's like a light switch that I could just flip on and turn off or whatever. Like I don't know, but like it's just like, oh, this is just how I am. But in my work setting, I'm actually very organized, um, and agendas are like a common thing that I like to have when at yeah, agendas are a common thing that I like to have when I can. I'm known, so my coworkers pick on me, actually because of my emails. Because of the way I send emails, I send very like to them they say very long emails, but they're not long emails. They're very detailed, bullet points, like organized, like in order. And
Okay.
then I always say like I tell people I was like, I'll like argue back and forth. I'm like, if you just read this email, you wouldn't have any more questions. Like,
Oh, yeah, I'm terrible. I don't read long emails. I get
'cause
that.
we like some of us like we beat back and forth. I was like, I'll send. They were like, you send the longest emails. I was like, because I don't want you to contact me again. Like I want to send this email. I want you to see like what I'm trying to say, and then I'm trying to actually I put in the extra effort so you don't have to even reach out to me anymore. Yeah, that way I don't get one more email.
Right, right, okay. Are you still considered an engineer in your new
Mm,
role?
I think like I think some things just kind of stick with you forever, because like.
But I mean, is that you're not in your new role, are you
Oh no, no, I'm not an engineer.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
but
okay, yeah.
it is like I still use my technical background. So like in the new role, like let me see if I get this right. It's a tongue twister. Senior strategic sourcing specialist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before
That sounds
S's.
big time.
Yeah, it sounds big time, and it probably is big time. It's a lot. So
So when you got that new role and you called me and I was busy, which you tell me all the time that I'm never working, but but I could say the same.
all I
Uh,
gotta say is like I could count on one hand how many times I feel like I've called you, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going over here, or I'm doing this." And I'm like,
but how much
I've never. But it's funny because like my friends tell me all the time, like I have a limited amount of PTO. Very like it's limited to the point where like I know like I have to like plan ahead, and I know this, but my friends say that I'm never at work, which is crazy because I'm always at work because I only
yo,
have I only
that's
have like a certain amount of days that I can't be at work. So like I'm
that is
literally
true.
always working. So I'm like, but they're like, you never work. I'm like, how is this possible for you to think that? Because I'm always here.
Yeah, and I've talked to you at work, and I have heard that other like professional Jacob. The girls are
Mm.
aware of it too, because we're
Professional Jacob.
I am usually in the car when I'm talking to you, so they're usually listening in, which they love every time
They
you call. One
they
time I
like
didn't, yeah, one time I didn't answer the phone because I was like we were almost to a location, and they were like, "Why would you not answer his call?" Oh, so that reminds me too. So my kids think they call your last name, which is Yarborough. They're like your last name to them is your bro. That's
your
the only way that they will refer to you, Jacob, your bro. And so this is something I noticed about you when we were at Three Tree not too long ago, and I told JoJo this because you were the only two people that I've seen do this.
mm,
Okay,
me and
so
JoJo.
you and
We have a
JoJo are the
lot in common.
only two
How
people.
old is JoJo?
8, 8.
I got a
So
lot in common with an 8-year-old.
you are you both. I saw, and again, this just happened. I don't know if you do this all the time, but you sneezed and you blessed yourself. And JoJo does that every time she sneezes. She says, "Bless me." And you
I
just,
said, God bless me. You didn't hear it. I said, I
okay,
was
the
like,
whole thing. But
I was like, God bless me.
you.
Blessing to me, blessing yourself is when you say, you sneeze and you say, bless me, or like, there's this one like
Oh
pretty,
my gosh, I didn't know there's a nuance to this.
there's a famous video where this guy sneezes. He goes, uh, bless me. And then he thanks himself. He goes like, he's like in an interview or like he could even be a podcast. And like, he's just like, he goes, bless me. Thank you. Like, he
So,
does like, that's what, so when you said that, I was like, wait, I've never done
no,
that.
you did it. You did it. I don't know. So like it may not be common, but I was, and I didn't say anything then, but I took note of it. And I told JoJo when I got home, and she said, "You know, that Jacob, he just gets me."
That she just talked like an adult at that moment.
Yeah. Oh no, she very much. She's being raised very differently as the youngest child for sure. Okay, so I'm going to move us into. We decided we weren't going to get too deep today, but
Okay.
um, I did bring up in another podcast to someone because we were talking about. Uh, he was talking about conflict on teams and Christian organizations not dealing well with conflict
Mm,
because they were, he called it nice Gianity, like they just were not, they avoided conflict. And I had brought up, like, in the dating world,
hmm
that uh you and I had discussed that if someone was like, when you're just getting to know someone, or you've just met someone and you're not sure where they fall on the scale, they call themselves a Christian, but where they land on that, who knows, until you get
Yeah.
to know more. But the more uh association, or the I don't like saying more Christian, but um the more likely, if it's not going in a good direction, they are to just stop the conversation versus having a conversation. Like, more likely
Mm,
to ghost. It's kind of like
yeah.
what you and I were talking about. So, do you want to speak on that at all before I go
Well,
in?
one, I think there's like categories for sure. Like some people, like there's categories, there's maturity levels and things like that, where like people can be in because like I think there's like always there's that group that I think there's like a group that can be very like avoided of like difficult and hard situations and stuff like that, and they don't want to have the hard situation. I used to be one of those people. Sometimes I think naturally like the person I am and my personality, I actually retract, myself, or like I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, I'd like try to get away from like really difficult conversations because I don't want to have them. And I think that's something that I did a lot, probably, you know, you know, 5, 6 years ago, I was probably more of that person.
Mhm.
Um, and then just over time, I realized, okay, that's not very effective. And I always have things in my head. And so, like, to me, to actually be be one that doesn't have like super anxious thoughts and like things just like circling around in my head the whole time, I'm like, oh, I gotta get them out. So that means I gotta have this conversation.
Oh,
And
right.
sometimes that means whether you want to have the conversation or not,
Okay.
this conversation's being had. And like and it's really like in a if you think of it from a Christianity standpoint, it's for the benefit of both people. Because like, you're trying to, whatever the situation is, you're trying to like find a resolution, not just avoid it the whole time. I think like we come into so many different, problems because like everybody tries to avoid things instead of, being willing to kind of go a little bit deeper and just, be vulnerable and like
Mhm.
talk about what's what the real things are that's going on or whatever. I can't think of like an actual situation right now where I can like use a comparison, but I think that is like a serious aspect of it. But just going back, there's I think there's categories. There's people that avoid conversations pretty naturally. They don't like it. They don't like having hard conversations. They don't want to have hard conversations. They just want everything to be like sunshine and daisies, and that
Mhm.
that doesn't really work that well. Then you have those people who are the complete opposite, and they're like everything,
Very
like it's like
confrontational. Yeah.
yeah, right there in the moment, they're like, bam, right now, let's go ahead and knock it out. And that comes off as like you have, and there's one of them comes off as like, oh, you can get like there's like a pushover type syndrome that could happen, and then the other one is just uh like almost like a jerk syndrome or whatever.
Right, right. Yeah.
But I
Like,
think like being like right in the middle, I would say is like, and maybe not even being right in the middle, leaning more, to I'd probably like say I'm more in the middle now, leaning more to okay, maybe not having the conversations as much that I probably should, but like able to deal with that. So I think if I was going to draw a little diagram, it would look like this, and then there's the middle bell, and then
mhm.
work more to this way where like I don't really want to have these conversations, but I will have these conversations,
Right.
type situation. Um, and then there's those people that are probably in the, I think like a good healthy spot is like being, a percentage this way and percentage that way, to where you kind of like fluctuate between, knowing and having the discernment of like, okay, I really need to, maybe this is one of those things that I can probably let go, and handle, and everyone's going to be okay. And then there's another one where you're like, okay, I really need to have this conversation. I really need to talk this through, and I think it's going to be beneficial for everybody involved if we kind of do this little intervention type thing, or just like,
Right.
and we're saying hard, difficult conversations. It's not like it's like sometimes it's not always, just oh wow, this is a major major big deal. We might think it is, but like most time it's not even like that. But I've seen things that are simple as just like, man, someone's adjusting the thermostat. They don't even want to talk about that. Like, and also like that's a situation that I pulled from my own like book. Like I've had conversations where I was like, I didn't even want to talk about like the fact that someone's changing a thermostat, or like, or talk about like, I don't know anything else, but like
Right.
depending on like the story and the history and the people involved. It's not even necessarily like dating relationship. It's just like relationships and communication in general. I think all of that exists, and so it's not going to be like you see that in one situation and not the other.
Thank you. Sorry. I'm getting
No,
food.
no, no,
Thank
you're
you.
good. You're
Oh
good.
gosh. First carb
Ooh, yeah.
in a month.
Is
So
it the
this is
chocolate
special.
waffle?
No, I asked for plain because I don't think I can deal with
Uh,
the sugar right
the
now.
chocolate
So,
one is good.
okay. So this is going to be a first that I've ever eaten on a podcast either, but I'm so hungry. And this is
I
such a
ate,
monumental moment for me.
I ate my espresso muffin earlier, and
All
so
right.
if you can
Um,
taste the espresso, gets you a little jittery.
oh yeah, no, that's true. Um, okay. So there's two things. So one, you told, and you'll have to tell me if I'm saying this right. But so I had this situation, and then let me just preface: we're not going to go into the details because one of the situations. So,
Hey, we're
but okay.
assuming I know.
Oh no, no, I know you
I
know
might
because
have actually forgotten.
we talked about it yesterday.
Okay, okay.
Okay, okay. So there was situations where I um was just being myself, and it was misconstrued that I was more interested than I was. And this happened with two or three people that I was like, how do we even get there or go there? And you told me um, that if someone has made the decision,
Wait, was I
like,
being serious when I told you
yeah, this
this?
was a serious
Okay.
discussion. This was so serious. Okay. So you said, uh, uh, like in the instance, basically, if someone is trying to build evidence of a case that they believe in their head, no matter what you do, they're going to be putting that. towards their bank of evidence that you are interested in them or not interested in,
Mhm.
viewers, and if they've already made that decision in their mind, whatever you do, they're going to be looking at it through that lens. And so that's, even if I didn't give off that vibe, like, not to be that hard on myself, because if they made that decision, that they were going to build the evidence for that regardless.
I said that.
I'm not saying it quite like how you said it, but you were telling
If I
me
said anything in those lines, I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, like, wow, I'm so insightful.
sometimes you are.
It just throws me off. Just like I forget, like, how
I
insightful
mean,
I am.
sometimes. I
I'm
mean,
like, oh,
sometimes.
that's, and I mean that in the humblest of
mm,
ways.
No, and I mean, sometimes I've called you and I've been actually very devastated about something, and you've laughed your head off. So you've gone both ways.
I don't know if that means I'm a good friend or not, but
I'm like, this is not funny. But yes, you were, and I think you were saying it in the sense.
wait, that's actually hilarious.
See, see, you think that's
You were
funny.
like, this is not funny. I'm like, this is hilarious.
You have definitely done that
Actually,
too.
that actually brought me to tears. Right there.
And I'm not
That's
going to
pretty
bring up
funny.
that instance. Maybe I'll tell you later. It was one, and I was like, I am like destroyed here. I wasn't crying
I've
or
had
anything.
several friends that have like told me things that like were like super, super serious and like super like to them it's just like, man, this is just a really difficult time. And then they said something to me, and instead of me like connecting on the level I was supposed to, I did laugh, and I just and I don't even mean to, but it's like, and I think in your situation, like I laughed because
Oh, this isn't the same situation. Now, you did laugh at that one, and I was okay.
I'm,
No, we're
yeah,
not.
I was gonna say like in certain situations, like it's funny to me because like I understand like I feel like I understand it from like an overview perspective. And so when you kind of understand things from an overview perspective, it's like, oh, like let's say like you're really like let's say someone's really stressed about, I don't like someone. Let's say someone's not good at math, you know, and they're working on a math problem. We'll say it's like something in college algebra.
Okay.
Um, and then like you might be someone who is good at math, which I'm not really sure how good at math I am. I know I'm not really good at basic math, and I might not be good at like college algebra anymore. I haven't done college algebra anymore. But like if I look at something that someone's super stressed over or someone's super like blown away over, but I understand that completely, then to me it could be funny because I know
Okay.
exactly what's going on. Like I get it. So, or at least maybe,
No,
maybe,
okay. That makes, no, that does make
yeah.
sense. And both in this instance, I can laugh about it now. You were laughing about it before I could. You saw the humor in it. So, but yes, you were insightful about the, like, okay, if someone's already, and I've had an experience recently too where someone made an accusation that was so far off the reservation that I could not. I was like, what? And it was a gathering of evidence that was not true or misconstrued to prove a point that it, like, if they had already made the decision, then that's just
Yeah,
the
because
direction
like
they were going to
it's kind
go.
of like the same thing as like if you let's say if you like it's like it's a I'd say it's a form of I don't really know the vocabulary to use in this aspect, but I'm going to just use some vocabulary that we might know, even
Okay.
though it might sound more aggressive than it probably needs to. But like paranoia is like it's like this fear that someone's like out to get you. I think
Mhm.
that's a
Right.
term that we can understand. So like if you like have a paranoia of like okay someone's like this person is like obviously like they don't like me because they looked at me in a certain way. And like every time you see that person, they can look at you, everything they say, and like just kind of diving into like what you're kind of getting at that apparently
Yeah.
I said in the past. Like I'm diving into that, like everything they say, you're going to. That's what's happening. They're going to. You're going to associate that with the fact that this person does not like me. This person does not want anything to do with me. They're out. they're literally against me. They hate me. Or not even like hate, but like they just don't like me at all. You know, and I think I could say things like that because I like to say like I'm a deep thinker on certain things, and I see people, and I feel like I understand people a good bit, and I can understand them, but I could also understand them incorrectly. So like,
Right. Yes.
and so if I do have this thing where I'm like, all right, this person's like out to get me, whatever, and so everything they do, I'm looking for. I'm not looking at the good stuff. I'm only looking at the bad stuff. Like that's how I'm filtering it. Like they look at me, they make a little smart remark, they have a little smirk on their face, or anything like that.
Right.
I'm like, oh crap, I'm right. And I'm like, look at all this evidence. Like
Yes.
I have this whole list, and then
Hmm.
um, come to find out, like it's because like that's where my mind's been focused and shifted towards.
Right. No, that's very
Whereas
true.
the same thing can happen on the opposite side. I'm like, oh wow, this person really likes me. Look how they're smiling at me. Look at how like they think I'm awesome. They just look. They gave me a piece of candy. Like this person is like. I just said piece of candy because like that's the first thing came to mind.
Right.
But
Right.
like,
Right. Right.
but
Right.
they're
I
just
know what you're
like,
saying.
yeah,
Any
and it's the same
gesture.
thing.
Any
You build
gesture.
that case, yeah, and it's
Yeah.
really just like, and like it doesn't necessarily mean that you're always wrong, but like there could be like a pattern that says points to one thing or the other.
So on this same podcast, and you made me think about this. What we were talking about. Um, the guest mentioned that if you going back to don't go into the conflict and say, hey, this is something that's bothering me, this is something that I see, and you don't resolve it or just come to just put it out there, then you start down that road of building the evidence that this person is now there's a character flaw
You mean
because you
like if you don't resolve?
right, if you don't look at the conflict, like whatever, you offended me in this way and have a discussion about it, then and keep it inside, then you automatically go down that road of, okay, now I've made this decision about this person, and now I'm associating this thing that I didn't bring to his attention with his character rather than just having him give me an explanation of like where that, like just resolving the conflict. Now
Now
it
is this like an internal discussion or is this like a
yes, like you're
okay?
like, okay, now the evidence starts being built that this person always does this, or this person is like
Because you
making
didn't resolve it or
assumptions.
because they didn't resolve
Because if I have an issue with you, if I like, if I like, and I told you when that thing was serious, I was like, this is like this is a serious matter. This is like instead of being like, okay, Jacob, this would that actually hurt my feelings or whatever, but just associating you with always but just being insensitive,
it.
right? Instead of like giving you an opportunity to explain yourself like you just did
Yeah,
of how you see things. So if you don't bring the conflict to light, then you end up going down that route of building evidence against this person that they just
yeah.
behave this way or they have a
I think
character flaw.
I think that'll really matter more in the aspect of like one is it going to lead you to sin, and then two, like is it going to lead you to like uh you know
Oh
if
yeah,
if it
okay, okay.
like if it's like something like okay, you don't really like this person necessarily, or like something you had some type of like association where like things weren't all that great or all that good, that's one thing. But like if you if it's in the aspect of um where you know okay where am I going with this? Okay, all right. So you just said um that you're building this case, you're worried about
Right.
building this case, whatever. And I'd say I need you to repeat the last part because someone walked by and I
Okay.
completely lost
All
it.
right. I have
I
like
know
a
where I'm
very
going though.
I have a very great long-term memory, a very bad short-term memory. But what I was saying was, but so what you were just bringing up if it's just an obsolete relationship, not anything that's like a
Yeah,
real.
yeah. So like if there's someone that is you're not they're not really involved, like it's like, oh, it's a stranger. So I'm not really, is this something that that's kind of like where we were talking about that little meter,
Okay.
do I need to really go further into this, or not? Like, is this a relationship that I want to continue to develop? Now, if you're like crossing that barrier, or you're like, okay, I'm in sin, then like ignore all that. You have to like correct this thing, and I think probably like there needs to be some type of resolution or whatever. But if
Right.
it's something where it's like, okay, I just feel not good or whatever about this, but like, you know, if you like, you could, if it's someone that's a stranger and you built this case, I mean, you actually could be correct. Like, oh, that they might actually be like this all the time. Like the worst feeling in the world is to be like, man, I really feel like this person hates me, and then you find out, oh wait, they do. Like, I mean, but like,
Okay.
so like, I mean, like that could be like a pretty pretty significant thing, like like
Still,
I
it's
mean,
good to know.
yeah, I mean, but you don't really, if it's like a stranger that, like someone like that you don't really see that often, they're not really a part of your circle. I don't think that's the one that you need to really,
Right. No,
you know,
that's true. Yeah.
unless
This.
you're like, man, they hate me, but and they hate you. You really want to know why, like. But then again, like sometimes people just don't like certain things about
Yeah.
people.
They're not your cup of tea.
Yeah,
Um.
but if it is somebody though that you're going to be around constantly, you actually do want to have a good relationship with that person. And this is like any type of person. So like it doesn't necessarily mean like um the closeness or whatever doesn't, not the closeness, but like the significance of the relationship doesn't really matter. Like it could be coworker, it could be friend. But like in the sense that I'm saying is like you would want to probably not have a negative view of that person and try to work towards those. And then there's sometimes those conversations that you might not feel like you can have, and they might be like just things that are just, okay, this is an internal thing that
Mhm.
probably I need to look inwardly
Right.
and not fix this by myself, but like probably bring this up in
Right. But it may
prayer.
be your thing. It may be
Yeah,
just your thing.
exactly,
It
exactly.
may
And
not
it's
even.
not,
It may be for you and not for them.
yes, yes,
Totally.
because like, we, the way our minds work sometimes, I think the way our hearts are is that we can, we're gonna cater to ourselves. We're gonna be more selfish. We're gonna think more selfishly often, and then when you start doing that, and it's like an internal thing, like you bring it up, you'll just end up looking stupid because this is something that you built this entire like
Yeah.
frame or picture of something that isn't true and doesn't exist, and it's something that you really need to probably like hand over to the Lord or something, in that nature.
All right. I'm moving this in a different direction. Or not
All right.
kind of the same, but kind of. So in 2022, I started
Trying to think back
dating
2022.
online. Okay. So I started dating online. And I remember the exact place we were at when you like gave me a whole talking to. Um and in front of people. And I was like,
In
wow,
front of people. That's
you were
interesting.
very passionate about your viewpoint on online dating. I felt like I had sense the way that you had approached it with me. Like Julie, this is a no. And you may have even
people
said
people change their minds. Like
yes.
I could have a different viewpoint, but continue your question. I don't
So
think I do, but let's just.
it was pretty you yeah. It was I was like and in that conversation I was kind of like okay, I am going to pick and choose who I'm telling this to because
You're like,
apparently
I'm never telling this to Jacob again.
I'm like, this could be, and I felt like maybe it was a Christian thing. I wasn't
Yeah,
totally sure. I'm like, is this going to be something I need to be careful about who I bring it up to? But how do you feel about it now?
online dating.
Yes.
Okay. All right. This is how I feel about it. It's
Okay.
probably not that much different from before, but I'm probably not going to be as aggressive. Uh, so this is what I feel about it. So I can only talk about. I would say it's more of a personal thing, but it's not. I think it's an overall thing. Like, I don't like people using it for several different reasons. Um,
Okay.
um, and uh, and I think it can kind of go pretty deep. I don't like doing it for several different reasons, and I don't like the fact that other people. I don't like people feeling like they have to
Mhm.
recite or like that's probably not the word for that. That they have to rely on just online dating in general. So uh, I guess I kind of go into it just probably from my viewpoint first.
Okay.
You know, my experience is all right. When I think about, I'm thinking Christian, biblical man, and to start this off before I say all of my things I think are negative about it, I'll say there's so many positives. I have very, very good friends that use online dating, very, very useful to them. They met their spouses on it and everything like that, which I think is incredible. So I was like, I say for the cases that where it works, awesome.
How are you gonna know if you gotta?
I don't know how to answer that question, Julie. That's just what I'm saying. For the cases where it works, great. That's fantastic. But if it hasn't, then I'm gonna say in that case that it's not. Then in that case, I'm probably not gonna have the best view on it. But you know, and I probably have a different standpoint on it if it had, if it's something worked for me. But I guess whenever I use online dating, what I felt like I was doing was I would look at someone's photo, I would look at three bullet points about them. It's like I was in a slideshow presentation, on PowerPoint, and I'm
Mhm.
I'm like swiping, like I'm like trying to order something off the McDonald's menu or something. I don't even eat at McDonald's. I was just like, it's just like I'm like going through these things, and I feel
Like
like,
car shopping.
yeah. And so I guess like for me, like I feel like I'm a pretty relational type being.
Mhm.
That's it. I don't know if I can always get deep friendships all the time. But like I definitely feel like I can connect on like a quick level. And then like but I feel like as I would scroll and like kind of swipe or whatever on dating apps when I have used them in the past, I feel like I face a couple of different situations. One, I feel like, okay, I like in-person interaction. I like to be like, does this person actually like me or like whatever? Like, I don't want to like do that through 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 a phone or through an app. Like I want to like in person like actually be freaking out. You know, I know most people probably
Oh,
don't
yeah,
want
you did okay, you
to.
did tell me that. It
Yeah,
eliminates the fear factor, and you feel like there
yeah,
should be a
yeah.
little
Like
bit of
there
angst.
should be like now. Do you want to be like at the date like like probably not, but like like but I would say like I do like that's the you don't like even if you're like watching a movie about that like it's really hard to like watch a movie where like it's a way better movie when like they bump into each other because they have the same
Yeah.
type of dog like the 101 Dalmatians. That's how they meet because they're like walking their dog and they get tied up with them and then like they come together or whatever. Like makes for a way better movie than if they were like, oh, this person has a Dalmatian. I'm gonna swipe right.
Oh my gosh, okay,
So
okay,
like it just makes for like a whole better experience. And
okay,
so one like it does take away that kind of that fear factor or like that thing. So and that I think is one that really makes us human. And I think that's like a very significant interaction. But the second thing I'd say is that as I would be like kind of swiping or whatever, I felt like I was taking away from the people on the other side of that 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 screen. So
okay.
these are actually people who
Right,
are
objectifying them.
looking for something. Even if I'm on a Christian app, like
Mhm.
they're looking for relationship, they're looking for like some type of community, they're looking like for their spouse, like or anything. And first of all, even on these Christian apps, some of these people are wearing things that I just like
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if anything, I was like, yep, don't want this person, don't want this person, don't want this person. It's like it's just not appropriate or
Mhm.
whatever. And so like, and the term Christian is unfortunately used very loosely.
Oh,
And I
yes.
think that's something that I'm trying to in myself, like, you know, you know, introduce myself when I say I'm a Christian. Like I want to like recapture that
Right.
word because it hasn't been one that people looked at as something that's like very convicting anymore. But anyways, I just feel like I wasn't viewing the people on these apps as people. I feel like I get to this point where I'm pulling it up like it's Instagram, and I think
Yeah.
if people are being honest with themselves, that's what happens sometimes, and unless and if they're in a relationship, they don't have the app. But like if they aren't in a relationship yet, they're still scrolling. Sometimes you can even be
Oh,
having
yeah.
conversations.
Yes.
You can be having conversations with someone that you've already met, and you're still looking.
Right.
It's just
Right.
like it's social media, and so like in that case, it's just not something that I think is very good for our hearts. And it's not something that's very good in general. But still going to bring back the fact that I'm so happy for my friends who have like found this connection with that. And I'm not going to lie and say that, oh, well, that means Jacob's never ever going to use one of those again. I just try to, for me, I try to not do that because of the experiences I have had where I felt internally that's what I'm doing. Like I feel like every time I download an app, it's me not trusting the Lord for interaction. But I'm also a male, so it's different. It's a different
Right.
thing for a guy, because for me, it is my responsibility to go up and have this conversation and ask this woman out on a date, and find out if she's like interested in this or whatever, and I feel like that's my responsibility. And it's too easy for me to pick up an app, download it in 4 seconds, and then I don't have to do anything. it's
Okay.
it's just
All
way
right.
way too easy. And
Okay.
so and I don't like, you know people say all the time, if it's that easy, or like things that are so easy sometimes might not be like, I don't even know if you could say that in the aspect, like, because you don't want dating to be difficult or whatever, but
It's hard out there as it
but
is.
but there should be like some things that are a little bit more difficult, and I prefer like, okay, Jacob, be a man, go over there and like talk to this girl or whatever. And sometimes that takes me a couple of days to get by, even though most people don't believe I can be shy. I am
No. I've
decently
seen you here. I've seen
shy.
it in action right here at Two
Yeah,
Story.
and I get shy. Like I 100% get shy, but like after like put my nerves up, or like I call it ripping the band-aid off, like
Oh no,
surprising
yeah.
myself, like, oh, I didn't know I was gonna ask this kid. Like I had people say, oh, I didn't know you were gonna ask me out. I was like, I didn't either. Like I just it just happened. Like I like walking by them, like, bam, you gotta do it. Because once you start talking, you gotta like, you're in the conversation now. You just gotta keep going. So
Right.
because like I'll get nervous or whatever, but like I'll be like, oh yeah, bam, I'll time to ask this girl out, surprise, surprise for her and me. So like, but yeah, so like, I don't know. That's just my viewpoint on it,
Okay.
and I think there can definitely be like, is there anything wrong with it? Like, I think as long as your heart's in the right spot, and I would say like for one of my for me, like the times that I have gotten on it in the past, like let me tell one of my friends, or let me tell someone that I'm close to that can hold me accountable.
Right.
Because like if they start seeing like behavior where I'm like, or they start hearing me talk about certain things where I'm like, okay, I'm not like doing this in a healthy way or whatever, where it's like, okay, I'm just scrolling on this app or whatever, like, because I don't want to see people in a way where they're not people. Like
Right.
that's
No.
just one thing. And then the other thing that gets to me is too is like someone else could be on the other side of the phone doing the same thing to me.
Right. No.
And so like yeah, that's my case. But like yeah, I've met I've met girls on apps, and I've gone on dates or whatever, and that's been a thing that's happened, but it's just not the thing that I prefer.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
you know, so
Yeah, I
and
don't think
does
anybody.
anybody prefer it? I don't know,
No,
but like,
I don't think
but I
anybody.
think it's really successful when it does, and I've seen some really awesome relationships develop from it, and I'm really glad that some people did do it. Um, but because then I wouldn't know them and their significant other in the way that I do. But that's just my viewpoint on it, and I think it's only that I think I only have that viewpoint because of my experience personally of like how I feel like I've gone in an unhealthy way of like seeing things like that,
Mhm.
or at least I thought about it. Maybe no one else has ever thought about it. I'm weird and I just think about things that maybe I shouldn't think about, like in the
Oh, no,
aspect of
I
like this
think you put a lot
conversation.
of thought into it. I mean,
And but yeah, so like I think also too like I'm just a relational person, and so like I'd rather like have that interaction take place in person.
right, and you
Um,
can't really even if you were texting or talking for, like, a month or 6 weeks or whatever, until you're in front of that person,
oh yeah,
like, that makes all the difference. It could be a total wipeout, and not because of anything of the way that they
mhm.
physically look, but just there's something off or just that it doesn't
Yeah,
work.
yeah. Like even just like on the phone in general, like it's not the same. Even just through texting, like at some point I'm gonna probably like want to um like I would probably want to like just call anyways, just to like have a more like if I'm like obviously like busy or whatever, it's not a big deal. But like after a while, I'm gonna be tired of texting, or not tired of texting, but like I'm gonna want to. You're gonna want to see that. Like with my friends, like I'll text my buddy all the time. We don't see each other, but like at some point, we're like, all right, bro, we gotta see each other. Like no homo, but I miss you. But
Right, right,
so
yes.
like it's just things like that.
No, that's very true. Um, so so and if you I'm just gonna say the thing. Okay, so we've known each other 5 years, and I guess I've been divorced almost that long. So I would have suspected, or I would have thought 5 years ago, I was probably thinking that I would definitely be remarried by now, and probably you would be married by now. Um, and that's not the case. So how do you feel about your singleness in this time frame? Maybe even compared to like 5 years ago, or how
Mhm.
where are you in that? How do you
Honestly,
actually
Julie, I hadn't thought about it until you just brought it up, and so I'm
whatever?
I'm joking.
I'm
that yeah, I was actually doing perfectly fine, and then
okay. Now I
you
just
just
brought you down.
you just
Okay.
reminded me.
Well, now that's what you get for laughing at me in my
Yeah,
distress.
funny. Um, I'd say like I think your question was like how do I feel finding out that okay nothing like I guess like because it hasn't happened yet or whatever. Is
Right.
that what? Yeah,
Right. Like just being single now at this age in this time period. Like
yeah.
how do you?
I mean, sometimes it's more of a struggle than not. Um, and so like sometimes like it's something that goes through my mind and I think about it and you know and I'm dwelling on it too much. But you know, so the name of your podcast is Pursuing Joy, and it reminds me of a John Piper sermon. Um,
Okay.
and so and John Piper uh, outside of my local pastor, um, hashtag Fletcher Memorial Pastor. But outside of my local pastor, John Piper is probably one of my favorites that I like to listen to, um, and I bring that up because like if I'm constantly dwelling on my state of singleness or
Mhm.
like my relationship status, I'm constantly dwelling on even my work status. Like there was a time where I'm like, okay, I kind of want to like I don't necessarily want to keep doing the same thing forever. I kind of want to like go into a different route. I want to use my skills that I do think I have that are really good skills, and I want to like use them in a different method. Like I want to be challenged, but like challenged in a way that I want to be challenged because you can be challenged like in a lot of ways. So
Yeah.
like I experience challenges, but like I want to experience challenges in a way where I'm like, oh, this is a challenge that I kind of want to like figure out. Like learning an instrument, that's a challenge. But like if you have zero interest in learning an instrument,
Oh,
then
right.
like it's not gonna be like a challenge you want to necessarily pursue. But I'd say like if my when my heart and my mind is not in a good place, and I'm not, you know, pursuing God's word, I'm not in prayer, I'm not surrounded by a good Christian community, then, it's very difficult. But I wouldn't even say that it exists different in the fact of, singleness or relationships or anything like that. Like, I don't think that exists in a different category than work, or
Mhm.
than just normal life, day-to-day responsibilities, um or like just physical fitness or anything like that, like taking care of like things like, oh, I want to be disciplined, I want to go to the gym, I want to wake up at whatever time in the morning. Like, I don't think that is necessarily something that exists if we're being honest with ourselves in a good manner, which I think right this moment, I think I am in a good space where I can say,
Mhm.
yeah, like this isn't all that much different in a sense, when I'm thinking as far as like how my thoughts are working and where my focus is. If I focus too much on one area of anything, um, and then that becomes my sole thought process, my sole focus, then I'm going to be unhealthy.
Right.
The only way that doesn't work is if the only way I don't run into that issue, as far as like having 100% absolute focus on one thing, is if my 100% focus on an absolute one thing is Christ, and if my focus and my heart is on Him, then I'm gonna experience peace. I'm not gonna be thinking about all these other things. Scripture says that, seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things are added to you. And it's not necessarily talking about like, relationships and these things like that. It's talking about like our basic needs and stuff like that. But like, if my mind and focus is on Christ, then like I'm not going to be concerned with the stuff that is outside of that. So I think that
Yeah.
is probably where my heart needs to be on a regular basis. Not a probably, that is where my heart needs to be on a regular
Right.
basis. And when it's not, that's when we're prone to wander towards those thoughts of like, man, I'm getting, I'm like, I'm not 23 anymore, like, and I'm not getting married anytime, like, on my current calendar.
Right.
And so like, when I think of it and look at it like that, it's like, all right, if I'm gonna start having negative thoughts, like, and I think like it's not always bad to reflect and think about that, because like, if I see someone that like looks interesting and I want to like have a conversation with them, or like I want to like maybe like ask them on a date or something like that, then obviously like at that moment, you know, I'm being like, oh yeah, like sometimes I'm like, all right, Jacob, if you don't go talk to this girl over here, then you really are going to be single forever. So like, I told, I told, I told some friends of mine, I said, hey, statistically speaking, if you never ask a girl out, you actually will be single forever.
No,
So
that is
like,
true.
you will never get married, like if you never go and ask her. I was like, statistically speaking, that is probably the odds are against you. Like, so I was like, so that means you actually have to make take some action or whatever.
Um,
But
so I wouldn't
yeah,
have asked you that question. So I know you have a very full life, and I have a very full life as well. I wouldn't have asked you that if I thought you were like majorly struggling. Like I knew you would have a good answer for that.
yeah,
So just I didn't think that. I was just like, okay, so, this is where we are right now, and we are pursuing joy. Okay, so we are over an hour in, and I have asked none of these questions, but we've
let's
kind of
let's fit them off. I got a couple of minutes. Just like, just
you don't have
rapid
short.
fire them and see let's see what I have.
Okay, so I think we've done enough with. Oh wait, hold on. How about this? Okay, and this kind of goes in line. So regardless of whether we're like focusing
Mm,
on like singleness or not, I know you and I both talk like we're praying through this. We're praying through this person. We're praying through this relationship, and like, should I go this direction or not? Um, how do you feel like that has I think the question on here is, how do you invite God into decisions without over spiritualizing every opportunity? Is the question on here.
How do I invite God into every decision? Like I think uh that's a good question. I think it's a good question because like for anyone that because I don't think you would probably um fall into this category, but like God should already be invited. So like so I don't think the question is irrelevant. I think the question is important. Um because if that is the approach that okay, I'm inviting God to this without like over spiritual, like he should already be involved. Like if we have a relationship with God,
Right.
then like he's already there. He's already in the midst. Like before anyone else knows, like he should already know. This should already be in conversation um with him. And I'd say like the part of like over spiritualizing every aspect, I think that's going to come with like being knowledgeable in scripture
Hmm.
um and knowing like hey, it's a choice, it's a decision. Use discernment, use wisdom. um does this person look like someone that has their maybe not has their life together, like, but to an extent maybe has some part of their life together. There's things that we do need to have um together in a sense. And then I'd say too that sorry, there's a bird on the screen. But I'd say too, like, as far as like not you don't want to get to a point where you're over spiritualizing things. I think when we're doing that, that means like we're we're not trusting that God's going to take care of us when we make a decision.
Right.
And
Not needing
and
angels to come down from heaven and say,
yes,
"This is the
yes,
one."
yes. And a very good book that helped me with decisions like that in general, I would recommend to everyone. I recommend this book to everybody. That anytime this conversation or conversation about decisions and like
Hmm.
trusting God comes up, and it's Just Do Something by Kevin DeYoung. And right now, that book, uh, so far, everybody I've recommended to that has read it, everyone say buy that book and read it. They also
Okay.
buy a house. Because when I
Oh,
read the book, I
okay.
bought a
You did
house.
tell me about that. Okay. Okay.
When I read the book, I bought a house after reading it. And then I gave it to a friend of mine, and he read it, and he bought a house too.
Okay. So it doesn't just work
So
for
it's only two
relationships.
people so far, but but yeah, I think it was very encouraging, and it just talks about like that book and in general, like it just uses scripture to say like pretty much, like you don't have to lay out like a golden fleece to determine hmm, should is God telling me, like, is he speaking to me? Is he writing on the wall here to say, all right, this is the one right here? Like, is that what, like, if this person is a believer in Christ, if they, um, if they seem like they could be interested, they seem like a nice person, um, you're in a healthy position to pursue that person. You're interested in like marriage, or you're interested in just getting to know that person a little bit, and it seems nice, and you're doing that healthily in a community. Then like ask them out on a date. Like it's not rocket science. It's not that difficult. I mean, I'm an extrovert, so maybe it's a little bit difficult for some people, but like it's not even easy for me. Like I have to like, but in the sense like, so I have to like obviously like work up my nerve to them. All right, let's go talk to this person. But like, it's other than that, as far as decisions, like it's a decision, and then you trust God, and you're like, all right, if this isn't the right person, then the dating process will do its job.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have, and honestly, so how I came up, this is going back to the neighbors, like, so the neighbor Sunday school class was like basically multi-generational, right? Like there was ages across the board. And I mean, I had a babysitter that came to stay. Uh, she's now married to, these two people are married now and I think maybe have two kids now. But when I was volunteering at Passion, um, the babysitter that I had for the girls, her boyfriend at the time gave me some really great like advice as far as like boundaries were concerned. And then I started realizing, okay, this like younger single generation actually was doing it way different than I was when I was young and single. And so I actually gleaned a lot of wisdom for this like phase in my life from there. And so I came up with 4 and even when I was online dating in 2022, this helped this helped me not end up in really bad situations or really negative situations, and it was very much a way of getting people out very soon before anything developed based on these 4 things, and so let me see if I can remember them. So one was all right, I knew your people were gonna start filing in here.
What's up?
Who is that?
I'm in a
Oh,
podcast.
wait, I'm not gonna say any say hi.
Come say hello.
Hey, oh, hey.
Where's the baby?
Hey.
And there's a baby.
Oh, cutie.
All right, cool. Leave you alone.
All right.
Okay.
Good. All right, they couldn't hear me, right? They could only see me.
Oh wait, yeah, that's okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I ran into Brett the last time I was there. Okay. Okay. So the 4 things. A follower of Christ, purity. Are you listening to me?
I'm listening. Follow Christ, purity, got it. I'm dapping somebody up and listening to you at the same time while eating a chocolate.
Okay, this is actually typically you are doing several things actually now that I think about it. You're always talking to people when I'm on the
I've been
phone
like
with you.
super focused this
Oh
morning
no,
for
you've been
sure.
excellent. Like great.
Oh,
Okay, so follower of Christ, purity is something that they hold in high esteem, and I'm not the only one holding that boundary. They have a community of people. They're not looking to date to fill like that empty space. And if I can submit and respect this person exactly how they are right now and not based on potential. And so if those 4 things have kept me um uh have worked for me, I guess you could say, based on like what you were saying as far as keeping Christ in it, like those are principles
yes.
based on that. Like that is the way that I feel is a good way to date as a Christian, I guess
Yeah,
you
I
could
think it's
say.
very important.
So, um, okay, because I know we're reaching the hour where you're going to be running into all kinds of people. So,
Yeah.
uh, all right, let's. Ooh, if you could go back to age 24, what spiritual advice would you give yourself?
Age 24. Um, so I think some of the things we talked about in this call or this podcast, uh, I think that is so significant. Um, like trusting God in a sense where I'm not over analyzing, um, being swayed in every direction by my decisions and trusting that God's going to be with me no matter like the circumstance. I think that is extremely significant. Um, and some advice that I wish that when I think about when I was 24, like I don't think I fully understood or grasped that. And I think to add to that would probably be um, also like being fully satisfied in Him, being fully satisfied in Christ, and seeking Christ in the way where I am uh, completely captivated by Him because, as we
Mhm.
discussed before, where my eyes and my focus is on Him, like when we look and we think about things that are sin, things that are make us anxious, things that like give us fear, things that make us, I guess, feel like you know hopeless. I think when we experience those feelings, which are covered a bulk of like what we would call hardship in our lives, um, it just comes from us not having a right view of God, and it comes from us not. And I'm not saying that we're. I'm not saying that if we experience those things uh, at all, those are human emotions and feelings. I'm saying if we
Mhm.
experience them in a way where they are overwhelming in a sense to the fact where this is a constant experience and we're not ever seeing peace or we're not ever seeing hope, and this is one of those things that like it these define us. We don't want these things to define us. So I think it's so I wanted to clarify that like those are things that we will feel, um but the hope that comes with that is having a to to not for that to not be our dwelling place, um having a heart and a mindset that is fully focused on Christ and being fully satisfied in Him, and like pursuing Him
Mhm.
in a way where where He is the our sole source of attention,
Yes.
um, and then allowing His peace to overcome us and to fully, you know, saturate us. I think that advice right there is probably the one that I would pass.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So you have more peace now than you did when you were 24.
Oh,
Would
for
you say
sure,
that?
for sure, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, I think it comes. I think it comes and goes, and like you know, life is all about balance and like all about
Mhm.
you know constant reminders. Like we forget things all the time, and you know that's why it's very important for us to regularly attend church services to where we're getting filled and we're being surrounded by community, and then regularly be in the Word to learn, and then to regularly pray and like take these things before God and have a group of people where we're being held accountable and they're like sharpening us, or we're bouncing things off of them and trying to learn in a sense, and to continuously grow and convict and repent. So I think that's very important in that.
Oh, all right. Okay. Uh, all right. Let's just do some favorites. So, is that your favorite book that you just?
I'd say I'm not gonna lie, I actually don't read a lot.
Oh, I know.
I don't read a lot. But I take that back. I don't read a lot. I listen to a ton of audiobooks. Um, and honestly, if I counted how many audiobooks I've listened to, it'd probably be pretty significant. But as far as like reading wise, I think that's probably one of my that book to me, I think like really helped uh, me just kind of like think through several things. As far as like decisions and just like, and it also like pointed me towards like a better mindset of like trusting in God, and it points you to Scripture. It points you to like having that thing where it's like, all right, I'm not just like it doesn't just help you in one way. I think it helps you in multiple ways. Because like correcting the way our mind thinks and correcting the way we think and see things is very important. Um, so
Okay.
so I'd say like yes, that's probably one of my favorite books. Um, and if I had another favorite book, I'm not sure exactly what.
Okay. Okay. Favorite worship song.
Favorite worship song ever? I'm not really good with favorites. I'm because I have like
I,
so
I I
many.
believe that. You don't have. I'm
Yeah,
not even gonna say favorite movie. I'm not even gonna go there. Current,
I
maybe
won't give you a
worship
favorite
song.
movie, but I don't know. Like I think
Got it.
every time I think of a favorite movie, I think of The Patriot with Mel Gibson.
Okay.
Yeah, it's such a good
Wasn't
movie.
expecting that.
It's got
Okay.
so much in it. Um,
What's a worship song that you're playing a lot right now?
All Glory Be to Christ by King of Philadelphia. I listened
Okay.
to that this morning. That's a solid.
Okay. Is there a scripture or story from the Bible that is speaking to your journey right now?
Yes. I don't have it memorized, but it is one that uh, I think each year what I try to do is I have this. Let me show you. Colossians 2:7, and I'll read it real quick.
Okay.
Um, um, I'll read 6 and 7.
Okay.
And it says, therefore, as you receive Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk in him, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, just as you were taught, abounding in thanksgiving. Um, so uh, I think that what I like to do, like each year, um, I'm careful about this, but I like to have like a motto for the year.
Okay,
Like
I have a
this
word
is
for the year, so
yeah,
this is
like
tracking.
it's just like it's just something where I'm like, all right, you know, New Year's resolutions, like there's just things like that. Like I think that there's been times where I was like, okay, New Year's resolutions, like I don't like that word. Like it's these things that people like do, and then they start on and they don't necessarily like keep them or whatever. But instead I like changed it to like my motto for like a year. So it's like it's not a defining thing. It's just kind of something that kind of like, all right, as I go through the year, like I want to reflect on this. Like sometimes I'll set a couple of goals. Like I want to kind of focus on these goals or think about these goals, and then it's like it gives me something to reflect on in past years too. And so I don't put a lot of focus and attention to them. I think I used to, because what I've realized is sometimes when I put so much focus into goals and things like that, I can sometimes let them become an idol, and I don't want that to
Oh,
be
okay.
a constant thing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with setting goals. I think you should set goals, and aspects like that. But like, it's so easy for us to start to idolize things, to where it becomes like uh, it can become something that we're just putting far too much attention into. Too much of too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. And so like that's one of those situations where I feel like I experienced that. But yeah, so this verse I think says a lot about how I kind of want to like reflect on the year and then also like look on previous years. And so one of those things that I'd say is, I used to praise like God, I want you to grow me. I want you to help me to learn more about your word. I want to do these things. I would be like, I want to grow, I want to grow, I want to grow. And what I realized is like, all right, I'm learning more about the Lord. I'm learning more about God. I am growing, but I felt like I was lacking in action. And so I was like, it's what benefit does it do us, you
Yeah.
know, to read and study scripture to a point where we know so much.
Oh,
But
Jacob.
if,
Oh my gosh, why are you
if
saying this?
yeah, until if we don't take any action, um, I can know so much about gospel sharing. I can know so much about application, but like if I'm not applying it to my life, if I'm not putting it into action, then
Spiritually fat.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so I'm not really gaining anything. And I'm currently listening to an audiobook that was suggested by uh, Pastor Chris Fowler for Fletcher Memorial, in a podcast I listened to yesterday. And he did a podcast with someone, and he recommended someone asked him what his favorite book was, and he
Okay.
goes, "There's a lot." He goes, "I think Knowing God by I believe it's by J.I. Packer." And he's like, this is a good book, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna check it out. Which it was one that was already on my list, but it was within the first few chapters. That's the same thought that was brought up, but uh, I don't want. I realized, like, okay, I've been praying and asking God and focusing on growing and growing and growing, which is not a bad thing, but like we've got to put things into action. So, and like last year was more of a year of like this is a year of action. Like I want to be active in, all right, I've grown, the Lord's grown, like, all right, let's go do some things. Like I want to do something. So like one of the things I think has
Oh yeah, you
is
have done a lot actually. Now I think
yeah,
about it.
yeah, I was
So
like,
yeah, go ahead.
I wanna like do some things. I want to be more active. I want to be more disciplined in this, and this. So I want to be active in those things. Um, but this year I said, all right, I'm kind of wanting to wean myself off of these mottos, these resolutions, these things in that aspect of nature. Instead, I want to be more, God, I just want to like I don't want like every year to be where I'm just trying to learn or to grow or to figure out what you're doing. I just want to be like I want to just be a man.
Putting it into
Uh,
action, what you've learned, putting like what you have absorbed, what's become part of you.
and but
And
as well as putting it into action, but also just realizing that we can come up with all these different plans, we can come up with all these different frameworks of
mhm,
thinking about things, but ultimately, um, even as we come up with these things, like we're going to we're we really can't control a lot of those things anyways, and life is going to happen however it happens. And so this verse talks about being rooted and established in Christ. And I think to be rooted and established in Christ is just living and letting Him take care of you, letting Him just take care of that transition, Him consecrate and transform us and sanctify us. And that is a process, which means I'm going to have my downfalls. I'm going to have the times I feel good. I'm going to have those mountains. I'm going to have those valleys. And I'm going to experience like all of these different things. But in experiencing that altogether, uh, I think being rooted and established in Christ is like that's a process, and that's something that um, really just requires me to be fully reliant on Him.
mhm,
And so, no matter the framework, uh, no matter um, no matter the focus and intention I put into uh, following something or some plan or scale or model that I have, ultimately like me just following like after Christ and His Word and like being in active relationship with Him. That's really the focus. So
mhm.
I think that's why that's kind of been like my verse. So it's like it's no longer like, oh God, I want to grow this year, or no, I want to just be active this year. Now it's like, God, I just want to be in you, rooted, established, and just continue living out, this Christian walk to the best of my ability by following and trusting in your Holy Spirit.
Mhm.
And that is what it's more of a leveling out, because I feel like life's been like this as I've been maturing and growing, and just like figuring out who is Jacob and who is this person that you're making me to be, God. And now it's more like, all right, I just want to be who you've made me and follow after the path and the plan that you have for me,
Right.
whatever that looks like. And so that's kind of, I guess that kind of like ultimately is what I feel that this year has been about. And so that's looked like a lot of different things.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I needed to hear some of that. So that was good. Every time I have every time I had, even some of the most surfacey podcasts, there's been this like thing where I'm like, oh man, okay, that's
Yeah.
if nobody else got it, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was good. Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So, uh, any parting words, encouragement for other millennials out there before you go?
Hmm. I think the parting word I have is retro. Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Great. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. And anybody out there, Jacob wants a scooter for his birthday. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
so
I looked up that scooter, because I keep seeing everyone run around the scooter, and I'm like, bro,
what do you mean by scooter?
like the electric scooter, you just get on the
Oh, like the
road.
ones you can like rent and go, like they have on
Yeah. And then
campus.
they took them all away, and I'm like, bro, like I can just buy one
Oh,
because
I
I'm
didn't
an
know that.
adult. It's like I could just like spend some money and have a scooter. Like no one could stop me at all. Like it's crazy. Um, but like no, I'd say like I'd say retro because like I've been just enjoying things like uh like older albums, like listening to albums. Like that's a new thing for
Okay,
me.
Shiloh has a record player these
Yeah,
days.
well, I said I don't even have a record player. I really want one, so that's something that I'm supposed to be
Oh, okay, record
getting.
player and a scooter.
Yeah, a record player and a scooter. That's like a crazy combo for a millennial. Like that, there's no other like record player, scooter, and
There you
like
go.
and some Midsummer Matcha from Three Tree That is
Yeah.
like the most millennial combination ever.
No, that is matcha. In fact, there's like a shortage of matcha because it's become so popular, and that's my
That's
new
that's
drink.
actually kind of depressing now that I'm hearing that. I kind of,
My
I'm about to probably
chai.
go get me another one.
I think my chai was a little too much for this morning. I'm feeling
Yeah.
jittery. So we're gonna head to the farmers market if you want
Okay.
to meet us over there. Uh,
You could actually meet me here because I got a bunch of friends that are just
I'm
like
sure.
they're waiting downstairs. I invited them because so last year I did the super big um, black tie event party where
Oh, are
every
you doing a birthday thing today?
well it's
For
like
real?
a yeah
Is this the day of the day in the life of Jacob today?
it's just a random thing. I'm not really doing much. I have so many things going on, so I just didn't want to like go all out, which is crazy because like everyone's been like, hey, what are you doing for your birthday this year? Because like last year it was like
I know it was big time.
very, very detailed. Too bad we didn't have a chance to kind of go into that a lot today. But it's like we've got this black tie event. We got a planning party committee. We've got like trophies and like people showing
Oh,
up
that's
from
right. That's
all
right.
over the
Okay,
place,
that's true.
and we got like a DJ and like I invited like 125
It
people,
was big time.
and I didn't think they were coming, and then they all came, and they brought friends, and so like I'm in a situation for sure, but in that like this year I'm like I have been kind of busy, so I haven't really had a chance to like kind of think of it.
I
So
know you were telling me that.
I'm just kind of chilling with like some close friends, and we'll just try to keep
Okay.
enjoying the rest of the year.
Well, we'll come over there for a minute. I don't think you've seen all four girls in
Yeah,
a
it's been a
minute.
little while.
So,
Yeah.
okay, we'll come over there, then we'll go to the farmers market. All right.
All
Well, happy birthday. Thank you for sharing all your millennial wisdom, 10 years
right.
younger than me.
Yeah.
And and thanks for doing this. So,
Yeah. This has been awesome. Thank you.
all right. See you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.